The forgotten are people who are John or Jane Does who have been murdered, or they have a body, but they have no identity to the body. So the police work on it for a while, then they have to move on to other cases because they can't solve it. There's a group of amateur detectives, which is true, who actually come in and try to find out who the individual is and then try to solve the crime. So we put together a group of real people. There's a telephone repairman. He's an ex-detective who lost his daughter, whose daughter is missing, so he has a real emotional connection to the victims. And it's also, what's interesting about it, it's told from the point of view of the victim himself. So you hear this voiceover during the series about how they're feeling and what went on and how important it is for these amateurs to try to find out their identity, to give closure to their families.
Well, it certainly gives me an ability to have some knowledge and some access to the Chicago Police Department. I still am connected in some way to the Chicago Police Department and work with people there and kind of have a little bit of an arrangement. I mean, cases that they cannot close, that they cannot solve, I mean, the ones where they have to let it go and they have to move on, they will hand to me and say, do what you can with this. And with whatever small details that are in the file that they give me, I try and piece together and put all the pieces, solve the puzzle with the team of people that I have working with me. I think it's all going to depend on where the writers decide to go in the future. So far I'm working with a telephone repairman who's a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, a housewife who has her own personal reasons for wanting to do what she's doing, an office worker, and a medical student who's there for community service. So all these people have kind of come together to do what they can to help to bring closure to these people that are so worried about where their mother, daughter, sister, brothers are. I mean, they haven't spoken to them. They go to sleep every night worrying and wondering what happened. This team of people does what they can to try and give them closure and allow them to stop worrying and start grieving and move on with that process.
Well, it's not really a deadline. I mean, they just keep working the case till they can figure out who it is. I mean, the police work under a deadline. Usually these cases will last about 2 or 3 weeks, and when they can't have, they'll get a high-profile case that the media is all over, or, you know, a politician's son who's missing or something like that. So these cases get shoved aside because they don't know who the individual is. And so they just move on from it.
The woman who plays Heather Stevens, they meet in her house. She plays Lindsay, and we basically, I think part of the interesting aspect of this show is that these are volunteers. I mean, they're not these streamlined, perfect, special ops detective type characters. I mean, they're human beings with real hearts and souls, and they meet in the living room, really. It's not like some underground secret espionage organization. I mean, they're just humans like you and me.